Guys, like, comment, subscribe, share the video, especially if you love college football as much as I do. As we all know officially, Colorado is moving to the Big 12. They're going back to the Big 12. I think it's a great decision for Colorado and Deion Sanders for what he's trying to do right now. That helps him a lot. um, because winning in the Big 12 is much more possible and less difficult than it would be for the Pac 12, especially right now, and I think in the long run. Because let's look at it. Pac 12 has USC, who I think is going to get better. They have Washington, who's going to be really good this year and probably will stay good because of the players that they're getting and the way they've been playing lately. You have Utah, who's always formidable. You got, who else do they have? Oregon State, who's also doing very well. The Pac-12 is no joke, man. It's pretty good. It's very competitive over there. The way it looks like at this point, they're probably going to have all those teams ranked somewhere in the top 25, and that's really good for the Pac-12. And not to say that Deion Sanders and Colorado can't eventually win in the Pac-12, but within the first year and even the second year, in my opinion, it's very likely to be as successful as you'd like. Because again, I know Deion Sanders went and flipped that whole roster, got all these players. You got to understand something. He did get better players than what was already there for the most part. But a lot of them were 3 stars. And not that there's anything wrong with that. He can probably make them play really good, probably exceed what they are on paper. But to do all that in 1 year against the likes of Washington, SC, Utah, Oregon, among other, a TCU on the road right off the bat, who's got good players and the same coaching staff for the most part, other than the offensive coordinator who went to Clemson. That's going to be very hard to do to really establish all that in 1 year, even in year 2 under Deion Sanders. So the fact that he's going to be having probably most of those players on his team come back next year, they're going to get punched in the mouth right away with a brutal schedule like the one I just talked about. And once they get through that, which personally I don't think they'll have a winning season because, again, it's his first year. It's hard to establish a really good program in 1 year. So once they go down to I say go down because Big 12 doesn't have those teams. They have good teams. But then you have Texas and Oklahoma leaving the Big 12. The toughest team around probably is going to be TCU as far as that conference, and Oklahoma State if they get their stuff together. I'm going to make a video about that in a second. But outside of that, who else is there that's unbeatable? You know what I mean? Especially for Deion Sanders going into his second year. Once he wins more games at Colorado than what he won the last year, which is what's going to happen. And players are going to see that. They're going to go play for him. He's going to get more of those elite level players. And then still keep most of the players he has and build them up more and get them better. So I do think it's the best move for Colorado and Deion Sanders in the long term. Just think about it. Once his program becomes elite, becomes really good, which I think it will in the long term, he can beat all those teams or maybe lose 1 or 2 games, win his division at worst, and still win a New Year's Six bowl and then keep building off of that. Do I think he could become the Oklahoma one day, where, you know what I mean, where Oklahoma was dominating the Big 12 for so many years? Yeah, I think Deion Sanders can do that. That would be pretty cool. I could definitely see him doing that and making it to the playoffs and actually doing something there. Yeah, I do think so because, again, he used to be a player. He's a competitive guy. He has the right attitude to compete. He wants to win. So yeah, I do see all that, and I think it's best for business. It's best for him. It's best for the Colorado football program in general in the long run. Now, once they become elite and they want to go join another conference and do what Oklahoma and Texas are doing now and test themselves more, then they can do that. So right now, it's a more realistic. I don't want to say easier and quicker because that's disrespectful to the Big 12. I mean, you shouldn't say that. Who am I to say that, you know? But it's more realistic and it's less difficult than playing in a loaded conference when you're still trying to build your program and you want to win. Because he already saying, hey, man, I want to win. That's what it is. So, yeah, it's a very good idea for Deion Sanders and Colorado's football program. Good decision to make to go to a less, I'm not going to say more winnable, less difficult conference than the Pac-12. You know what I mean?